9 to 5. I'm a goddamn good-looking man.
Can we please start the show
Yes!
like professionals?
Oh, how do you do the?
Hey, boys and girls. It's time for Not Another Pucking Podcast, Comedians on Hockey, with your old pal Chris Roach, the sometimes less than personable Anthony DiDomenico, the Count of Condescension, John Truson, and the effervescent Nick Tillelli in the booth. And now, let's talk hockey.
All right, first of all, point of clarification. Nick Tillelli, not here.
Nick
Nick Tillelli is, he's slacking. That's all I'm saying. He's slacking.
I think he got a job.
Doing what?
I don't know. What does he do? He said he had to work 7 to 5 today, which is weird hours.
He works
Really?
in a warehouse. It's Christmas season, so he's probably actually busy.
However, we are in good hands. Why is that, Chris Roach?
We have top engineer Sally. Is it O'Neill?
Sally O'Neill.
Sally
Sally O'Neill, who, by the way,
Sally O'Neill.
trained Nick Tillelli.
Yes, that's right.
So she's the maestro, the master, the Jedi Knight of the booth.
At the
if you will.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting?
No,
Where you trained him?
no, in here.
Oh,
No,
it's
in
in
here.
It's in here. Okay.
In here, baby. So we are in very good hands today. Now, immediately, let's. Now, Anthony was saying that he had plans for later on. Now, I'm gonna take a guess here, because if there's one thing I know, it's that Anthony always has plans when there's a WWE pay-per-view. Am I correct?
Ooh.
Do you want to see it where you can see comments and
yes.
stuff?
Yeah, I'll hold on.
Sorry, I was
No,
trying-
he's all right. He's all right.
She sees me struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he struggles all the time. He struggles all the time.
He kept circling like around the spot where he wanted to see words.
he's a
You
big
could-
dumb
You
animal.
can see him just
There you
like
go.
circling with the arrow, like, why aren't there words here?
Because he's really smart, Sally. That's what it is.
I got them smarts real good. Movie line, Urban Cowboy. Thank
There
you.
you are. All right, so now WWE. Is that what you're doing tonight? Little tables, ladders, and chairs. Anthony DiDomenico.
Later on tonight, maybe, but there is something else I'm doing.
Uh-oh. You doing something more important than tables, ladders, and chairs? WWE?
There's something else going on. I'm
Uh-oh.
going to talk about it on the air, but...
Oh, really?
Ooh,
Yeah.
must be a lady.
Is a lady involved?
Could be.
Tell me something good. Oh, yeah.
Any lady that... Now, I'm assuming that the lady is probably going to listen to the podcast just because...
Possibly.
So here's what I'm going to say, that you are a very lucky lady if you take precedence over a WWE pay-per-view in Anthony DiDomenico world. See, I'm in your corner here. Anthony.
Originally, that was my plan tonight, was the pay-per-view.
No.
Hashtag special treats.
Don't be gross, Roach.
Excuse me a second.
Roach is always gross.
It's a line from his act. It's a
I
line
know.
from his
That's
act.
what I'm saying. Don't be
I
gross.
I know.
Sorry.
I know.
I really, it's very new. Let's
Okay.
put it that way.
All right,
So
that's a
it's-
good thing. Well, good luck to you. And we will
Thank
just
you.
move ahead. I would like to point something out. Chris Roach this week was in his glory.
Yes.
You know why that is, Anthony DiDomenico?
Say it.
For some reason, they're going to syndicate Kevin Can Wait.
Son of a bitch.
I like to set Anthony up.
Why do you gotta hit a wound that's almost healed? It's
They
almost
want to
healed.
show all 48 episodes.
Stop poking.
Oh, my water.
Stop
Oh
poking.
man, no. Well, actually, on at Gotham, who came to see you,
Keith Kincaid, goalie for the New Jersey Devils,
and then
Sachem alumni.
and then at the comic strip the next
Saw
night,
that.
My new bestie,
our new best pal,
Sean Avery.
the great Sean Avery,
Well,
who made us laugh really hard here.
I got a question about the whole Kincaid thing. Did he come to see you?
He came. I'll show you the text. He actually tweeted at me first. He gave me a private message and wanted to know if I was going to be there.
I believe you, Chris Roach, and if you show us the text,
Danny
it will make
Guire
me
said,
sad.
ouch. I guess he heard the Kevin Can Wait comment.
Danny Guire, who was the technical advisor for Kevin Conway, technical advisor and head of security for Kevin James,
There
just
you
said,
go.
ouch.
Danny Guire, when are you going to be guest on the show?
Yeah, paradiddle.
We want Danny Guire on the show.
Yeah, he's taking drum lessons.
I want to know whether Danny Guire believes that that Henrik Lundqvist is having a way better season than he imagined.
He is.
He has not been in the Henrik corner, but a lot of
No.
people. But Henrik is stepping up on some of these
A
games.
lot of people have not been in the Henrik Lundqvist corner, but he is the, I guess, bright part of the team so far. I mean, again, I said from the beginning of the season for the Islanders and the Rangers, it was going to be a a long preseason just to check out who's who. And
Yep.
I can't wait. I know March that our first round draft pick will be coming up. I don't know what's going on with the Islanders guy, but when they get on the team, that's gonna be a lot of fun when both those players show up. It'll
This is
help the rivalry.
big kudos to Henrik because even Danny Guire admits that he has been impressive. See, there you go.
What are you pointing at?
What's the
What
matter?
the microphone you should talk into?
Me?
Yeah.
Why do I sound far away?
Yeah, I can't really hear you on the microphone.
Okay.
I like it
Sorry.
better when he sounds far away.
All right.
I think if he was
Hey
out,
now. Hey
I think it would be a
now.
better show if Roach was outside the studio.
Me
Rubber
too.
baby buggy bumpers.
No, don't be like that. That's
Okay,
just
so
good.
you brought up Sean Avery. Yeah, I don't want to, brag, but I'm teaching him or tutoring him in the art of stand-up comedy
First off, what do you know about stand-up comedy?
just by watching you.
Oh, you come to the club, you always order a drink, a Heineken or something like that. You go sit in the back and they always give you like free food or something like
What's
that.
the two most important things about stand-up comedy, Chris Roach?
Get there just on time, and
I'm testing. I'm
That's
testing
his
Chris.
impersonation of me, by the way. Because I sometimes when I get excited, I stutter a little bit.
I'm
testing you now, Chris Roach. What's the two most important things about stand-up comedy? Two most
Well,
important things to learn.
I always say vulnerability.
vulnerable. Yeah.
I always say vulnerability and honesty is huge, and also, of course, if you're going to take the mic stand, move the mic stand. Those little
Move
basics.
aside,
He's all sidestepping here.
Make sure show me you do. By
But
underwear, pull up to
we sat in the back, and he got to watch me follow J.J. Ramirez. Now, J.J. Ramirez,
The Latin lunatic.
the Latin lunatic, 30 plus years, and he is one. I've seen people that are good at crowd work. He is one of those guys that they are the master of crowd work. And I was trying to tell him, I showed Sean. I said, watch, he's very good at the crowd, but unfortunately, when you got to follow crowd work and you do material like me, it takes the crowd a few minutes to adjust, and it did. And I got them, but it took a few minutes. And also explained to him that headliner is sometimes a headliner. If a headliner is a clean comedian, he doesn't want somebody dirty opening up for him. And also, they don't want you doing crowd work in the middle, which, people in the Midwest seem to forget that, I found out. But if you're a middle act, you don't do crowd work for two reasons. If the headliner does it, you're taking away his act. If the headliner doesn't do it, you're changing the dynamic of the room. Now, he goes up there with material, and they're like, why isn't he making fun of the guy with the red jacket?
And here's another thing: just do your material, do time, have jokes.
These guys don't have jokes.
And do crowd work.
By the way, here's the, because actually, no thanks, Chris Roach. If you do crowd work, you should always end with at least 4 or 5 minutes of material
Yes.
to bring the crowd back down to focus
Yes.
before you pass the baton to the next guy. That's how a professional does it.
Well, JJ's got both. He does. The way he weaves in and out of crowd is pretty impressive because he's a Jedi. He's been doing it 30 years. But there are some guys that it's just that's all they do.
This is correct.
And they're very good at it, but it's like, like somebody like an R.C. Smith who just does all. He goes into the crowd, and each person he talks to, he has 5 set answers for whatever they said. He's been doing it so long. Like you say, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an electrician. Boom, 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 boom. He's got a thing. You're a blonde. He asks her a question. Oh, I'm sorry, you're blonde. What do you do for a living?
Hilarious.
Hilarious ensues. But he's a master
Hey,
at what he does.
What do you do for a living?
He's a master.
You rescue dogs? My wife rescues dogs. I got 20 dogs just pissing in my house right now. It's awesome.
Rescue dogs.
Say the funny thing last and then shut up. That's the two most important
That
things to know in
is.
comedy. That's
That
it.
is.
That's it. That's all of comedy. That's all you need to know. Say the funny thing at the end of the line and shut up.
That is, especially if you're a joke teller, if you're a storyteller.
No, it doesn't matter.
sometimes. Yeah, okay.
Doesn't matter. You always have to. The audience is not going to laugh if you keep talking.
This is true.
Of course, it's true. I said it.
Unless you keep talking and you lower the microphone.
No, because then they stop and they listen. Because if they like you, they want to hear what you have to say, and that makes you step on your laps. Are you having some sort of a? Are you having one of your spells?
Listen, here's something
That's a healthy man right
Can I
there.
tell you a pet peeve of mine? Okay, everybody knows me. I'm a very easygoing, nice guy. But in stand-up comedy, I have 2 pet peeves. One,
Having a coughing fit without covering your mouth?
that one.
Oh.
Well, that's what they make these things for.
Yeah, but Anthony doesn't have one of them on
Well,
his
he's
head.
the one that got me the little tickle. I got a tickle. Anthony gave me the tickle. Here's my 2 pet peeves in comedy. One is when you show up to a gig and they have nowhere for you to sit before the show. No green room. I don't put me in a closet with a chair, but put me somewhere. Okay? 2, my second pet peeve, and this is something This has been bothering me for a while, but I haven't addressed. When you do a private show and there's a DJ, from now on, I have to go up to him and say, listen, keep the microphone at one level and don't touch it. Because a lot of comedians, like myself, the microphone's at a certain level, and now I'm manipulating. I'm going up and down with the mic, depending on, sometimes you'll bring the microphone closer to your mouth.
Is that what you do?
Can I finish
you do
this? Shut your mouth. Your niece could be watching this. So I notice, like, sometimes when I'll get louder on purpose, the DJ will lower the. Oh God, it doesn't. I'm looking at the playback. That looks terrible. Can we cut that out, Sally? Is that possible?
Never.
No, that's out there. That's in the world.
A little steamy in here.
When you're manipulating the microphone
in and around your mouth.
You want to keep it. So I hate when the DJ messes with the volume. Just leave it at one volume and don't touch unless I tell you to.
Right.
No, and I hate when they put like the sound reverb or echo on it.
Oh, it sounds like
So you're doing comedy with echo on it. Like, I thought I put a little echo on it. It sounds good. I'm like, no, it doesn't sound good. It sounds stupid.
All right, Greg Vincent, starting right away with the rivalry. Here we go. He says, let's go Islanders.
He's allowed.
On the way here,
yes,
I watched the documentary. It's a 22-minute documentary.
Is that when you study for the podcast while you're driving here?
Yeah, I pretty much did. Google Arron Asham, go. And it really was... It was really evoking, if that's the right word.
Is that our that's our topic for the day? Is the Islanders/Rangers rivalry, if you will?
Right, and then we'll go into at 2:30. We'll get a phone call from Arron Asham, who also played on the Islanders and the Rangers. So he was on both sides of the rivalry, and also he was on the Islanders first. He also played on the Flyers and the Penguins, another big rivalry. So it's very. Can't wait to talk to him.
We'll ask him about rivalries. Is that what you're saying?
Rivalries, as they say in England.
So tell us something about the beginnings, if you will, of the what we know about the Islanders. We've already discussed the fact that the Islanders. Sally does not know this. The Islanders in the about 1970, 71, 72, there was a World Hockey Association, which was going to compete with the NHL.
Okay.
And they were going to put their New York team at the Coliseum. So the NHL, to block them, created the Islanders. That's really the only reason the Islanders were created, was to block the WHA from coming to Long Island.
And you're an Islander fan?
No, I'm not. I'm a Ranger fan.
Ranger Islander.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an Islander fan.
And wasn't it the team called the Raiders?
Yes.
It was the Raiders.
New York Raiders. They played some games at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to see their jersey.
It wasn't a pretty jersey. Wasn't a good-looking jersey.
What year was this?
You can see this.
John Blenn.
72, I think.
John Blenn probably has
Hockey
it.
jerseys in the 70s sometimes weren't that great.
Yeah, there's some horrible jerseys.
They really got pretty good. Oh, look who joined. Islander fan Doug King.
There you go.
Right?
A nice man.
Love him.
So the Islanders came into being and were immediately horrible. In their first season, they won 12 games.
That's my team.
12 games out of 78. That's not a good winning
That's not
percentage.
good.
No.
Is that Congressman Doug King?
No. He actually did run.
He ran for Congress.
Doug did, yes. Good man. And out of all the Islander fans that are my friends, no one torments me like Doug King. So that's why when I saw him come, I'm like, here he goes.
Good.
But I was trying to pinpoint, like, again, I became a Ranger fan in '79, and when I was watching the documentary, I remember when I just started becoming a Ranger fan, and maybe I wasn't watching every game, and the Islanders are winning the Cups, and I think that's when my first feelings of hatred for the Islanders came through my body, is when the kids in my class would come and go, Islanders! And I was like a secret Ranger fan at the time. I was like, shut your mouth. And that's when I started having those feelings, which have gotten better since we won the Cup. But I was trying to pinpoint the moment. I think, we talk about rivalries, the exact moment that you think the rivalry really took off. Was it the Ulf Nielsen hit?
No.
You think it was before that?
No, it was way before that.
Okay.
It was way before. What happened, Islanders won 12 games, which gave them the first pick in the expansion draft that year, who was one of the all-time blue-chip players ever. Who would that be, Anthony DiDomenico? Who did the Islanders take in the first draft pick?
Like a draft pick or another team? Wait, I mean a real
the draft of the guys coming out of like the minor leagues.
Minor leagues. Let's see. Was it Nystrom?
No, it was the game changer.
Frosty?
This isn't. He probably thinks we're doing like game show music. It's the Potvin sucks chant.
Oh, Potvin. Okay.
Dennis Potvin. And not only that, here was the smart move that a lot of people don't pay attention. Do you know what the Islanders did because they were smart? They signed Jean Potvin, Denny's brother, because the question was, is Dennis Potvin going to the NHL or is he going to the WHA, which was the competition back then?
Yep.
So the Islanders locked up Jean Potvin so they would have a little bit of an in negotiating with Dennis and getting him to come to the island, which he ultimately did.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a smart move. And Dennis Potvin, by the way, despite the fact that we like to chant "Potvin sucks," is one of the most. He was one of the most dominant players ever. He had the sort of like skills of like a Brian Leach, but he was even like more physical and a nasty hitting player too. So he could really dominate a game.
So they signed his brother. It's kind of like when people invite me to a comedy show and they said, "Oh, by the way, if Kevin wants to come by."
Yeah, it's like that.
Thank you, Sally.
Very, very manipulative.
Thank you,
Yeah, but the only
Sally.
thing is, Potvin's brother still talks to him.
Shut your face. I talk,
Oh man,
So mean to you.
nobody talks
Anthony is not nice.
except for Danny Guire. Look, Danny Guire loved that one. Danny, except for Danny Guire, nobody on this earth besides Danny Guire, maybe Kevin's assistant,
Talks
talks
to you?
directly to him. You don't talk directly to him. I can email him or tell Danny, "Hey, tell Kevin I said this." All right?
I'm sure he's always happy to hear from you.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh man. So anyway, so now they pick up Potvin and immediately they improve, and by the third year they make the playoffs.
Third year, that's impressive.
And who do they go against in the first round of the playoffs?
Rangers.
This
75.
This is where it started.
That's right.
This way predates your Potvin hit.
Right.
What happened was it came to a game 3, tied up, to go on in the first round, overtime. What happened 11 seconds into overtime?
Who
Chris
scored?
Roach?
Who scored?
J.P. Parisi
J.P. Parisi scored.
on the assist from Westfall out of the corner. Beautiful pass right on his stick. Boom, in. 11 seconds in, the Islanders eliminate the Rangers.
Yes.
That's where it all started.
Pete Stemkowski from the Rangers said that after that loss, it was a big loss. It was a big loss because he said he didn't leave his house for a few days because he didn't want to go to the local deli, and the guy go, "Hey, what's the matter with you guys?"
Is that what it was?
Those are his words.
So then, oh man, then the Islanders sort of like passed the Rangers in being they picked up a lot. They had picked up Bossy, all the names that Anthony mentioned, Bossy and Trottier, and they started to build a really great
They
team.
made the trade for Butch Goring.
That wasn't until the last year when they won the Cup.
The Cup.
That was the big trade.
That was a big piece that gave him that veteran.
Mm-hmm. That was almost the same as when the Rangers picked up McTavish and it was that penalty killer, face-off, smart guy that really puts you over the edge. It was you always need that guy.
My mom was when she worked at Hofstra, she went to school there as well, and she was in a class with Butch Goring's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And she would she always had the Stanley Cup ring on. The wives got rings too, and she wore her mom's
I thought you were
ring.
going to say she always wore that dopey helmet.
No, that's dope.
It was really
Dopey hockey.
It looked like he screwed it together before the game.
It was made out of like.
He had the least protective helmet in the history of hockey.
It was like that plastic they tied boxes with, and
Yeah.
he crocheted it together.
And then the Islanders' captain in '75 was Clark Gillies, right?
No, Ed Westfall was the first.
Yes, Eddie Westfall.
Who was a captain? Or maybe '79 Gillies was a captain. He was a captain eventually.
He was eventually, but Trottier was the captain of the...
Did I ever tell you guys a story why Clark Gillies scares me so much? The Amityville Horror, if you watch the movie, I told the story like 10 times. He looks like the guy from the Amityville Horror.
That's it?
James Brolin.
That's what does it?
He looked like the
Is that
guy
what
from the
does it for you?
movie.
Is he banging Barbara Streisand?
I don't know, but he was very.
I hope not.
He was very frightening. And then when I
Clark
saw,
Gillies' sake.
I saw James
I think the
Brolin.
concept of banging Barbara Streisand is frightening.
You know, inside source, Barbara Streisand. This is true.
Yes.
She has a compound on her property. And this is somebody who knows her, and I can't say the name. Danny knows who it is.
Why not you name drop everybody else
Listen,
on here?
she has a mini mall in a like a basement, like on her compound.
Oh, really? Like she could just go shopping
Shopping,
downstairs in her basement?
and what she does is
Like a mini mall?
she'll order. She has a like say a mini mall. There's like 5 stores. There's a court where James can get an ice cream cone, and there is. Let's say this is
She
true.
make 'em wear a beanie.
This is so crazy. There's a clothing store where she picks out all the clothes. I picture like a clothing store, like what's a woman's clothing store, Mandy or something, right? She'll walk into a Mandy with all these racks of clothes that she picked out, and she'll haggle. She'll haggle.
You don't bring me flowers
She'll say to the woman,
anymore.
she'll say to the woman who worked there is probably just really an actor, because they just gotta, she'll be like, nah, that's too much, and she'll walk out. Of her creation.
Great.
This is crazy.
I want that job. I want the job.
That's when you have stupid money, when you could do stuff. I want to do stuff like that.
I want
Do
to-
stupid things.
I want a job to professionally argue with Barbara Streisand over prices and products. I think that's entertaining. I'm in. I'm in for that. Okay, so back to the Islanders and Rangers. We are like very tangential today. You notice that?
That is a Scrabble word.
We are tangential.
We needed something on the thing for WW because you throw out a lot of Scrabble words. We needed like a Scrabble noise, like some kind of.
Okay, so what happens is the Islanders actually become dominant. And then, what was it, 79, the Islanders led the league with the most points. They won the President's Trophy. They were the pick to go on to the Stanley Cup playoffs. And who did they come up against in the playoffs?
The New York Strangers.
The New York Rangers.
In '79.
Yep, and who was red hot in goal for the New York Rangers? Right then?
JD, John Davidson.
John Davidson. Yeah, baby.
That was the year. Yeah, that was the year I became a Ranger fan. Was that before Nick Fertitta? Was he on that team?
I don't know whether he was on that team.
He was on 80.
You know who was the big acquisition for the Rangers that year?
Duguay.
No.
Damn it.
A guy named Bobby Sheehan. They picked him up right going into the playoffs, and he was red hot. He was that kind of player. He was also, I think, a little bit of a head case because he bounced around from team to team, and he was a little bit of a troublemaker. But he really sort of turned the tide of that team a bit.
Big money.
What year was the hockey with the Olympics and the Russians? Was that
1980. 1980.
Okay, so right before that must have blown.
Well, here's the
mind
thing,
if
and
you started really
we have
hopping
mentioned
in
that
79.
there was a guy on that Olympic team named Ken Morrow who played defense.
Son of a bitch.
Ken Morrow won probably the most prestigious gold medal ever in the history
Ever.
of hockey against they actually
Why
beat the
are you
Russians
upset
for
about
it.
that?
But that year wins the 1980 Olympics gold medal. Immediately comes to the Islanders and wins 4 straight Stanley Cups.
And
That's insane.
the reason that name still upsets
Good couple
me,
of years.
He scored one of if you go like top 5 goals in Ranger Island history, he has one of them.
Yeah.
And that's an overtime goal that eliminated the Rangers in, what year, like the 80s?
Yeah, but now we're still in 1979.
I'm sorry, I'm just...
And who scored the goal to eliminate the Islanders that year?
Wait, I know this. Pavlich?
No, I think it was wasn't that the Don Maloney goal?
No, the Don Maloney goal was a tie, tied them in...
Oh, that's the one that tied it. That's
Tied
right,
it.
and sent it to the...
And then Cameron
You're right,
scored the next game.
You're right.
But who scored the goal? It was... I don't even know Pavlich was on the team.
I don't know. Somebody will look it up in the audience.
Will, Sharon,
Look it up.
you are our ombudsman, unofficial ombudsman.
And before the Islanders are...
The Wolfman,
the
he
Islander
calls
folks,
him.
before the Islanders folks start...
Those guys
That's
Well,
it. He's
well-
absolutely right. He became a scout. He
Well,
became a scout for the Islanders, and he probably scouted some pretty poor guys.
Will Sharon says, Kenny the Wolfman Morrow. I don't know if he's making that name up or if that was his real nickname.
No, he always had the big beard.
He was a good defenseman. He got that goal from the right. Oh, God. You know what's so painful about that? Is that I don't know who of my brothers thought it would be a great idea to go watch the game at my grandmother's house, who lived less than 2 miles from the Coliseum. Because when he scored that goal, we walked outside of my grandmother's house, and you could hear screaming and cars all the way home, driving down Hempstead Turnpike. Everybody's with their horns.
Really? You know, it was, and this is totally an aside, another tangential leap here. I was driving into Manhattan for a Billy Joel concert with my girlfriend in 1986 when the Mets had that really long game against Houston.
Yes.
The game that went way into extra innings. And when the Mets won that game, you heard New York City cheer. It was pretty cool. It was like just the whole city erupted.
Bunch of front runners.
Not me. I don't know anything about baseball.
Of Of course you don't.
But anyway, okay.
You know,
and-
I bought a Met shirt when Kevin wanted to go to the Met game. I got a Mets-
Before
I
they
got a
have
Mets- Mets jacket, you know, with the game. Let's go Mets. I like to see him. It's really good. You know.
Did you get any of that, Sally?
No.
I went to a couple with Danny and Kevin. I
I don't like baseball, but Kevin like baseball. I like baseball. Because I gotta get on the show. You like baseball. I like baseball. Right episode. Every episode when we go to the game. I'll be on the show then.
They invited me to a couple of games. I went.
I was like, yeah, buy a Mets shirt. Hey, listen, I gotta spend a couple bucks on the Mets shirt. I gotta because Kevin likes the Mets, so I like the Mets. You know what I'm saying?
And by the way, for those of you who don't know, what's the difference? Aside from the 1,000 other ones that we could mention between Chris Roach and Kevin James. Kevin James is a great athlete.
Oh.
He's a tremendous athlete. He's very
So
competitive.
he bought skates.
Yes, if Kevin James bought equipment, he'd be skating.
He's not a hockey fan.
It doesn't matter.
And when I introduced him, name drop, to Ron Duguay, I was nervous that he's going to be like, who are you? But he remembered Ron. And he says, I remember you back in the day.
Yeah, they remember that Ooh La La commercial.
See, one of the greatest things I got to...
La La.
Yes.
La La.
We were at lunch when Ron came to set that day, and we sat down at lunch, and I had to say to him, Danny was with me, and I said, Ron, I have to ask you, after all this time, why the Sassoon commercial? I said, do you have any idea what hell? I had to go to school the next day, Ron.
What they say to you though, the kids? This is my favorite.
They used to go, ooh, la la, baboon.
So, were they likening you to a simian, sir?
I don't know. Ooh, la la, baboon.
Were they saying that you, sir, resemble a hairy beast?
I have long appendages. I have long.
They called you a baboon.
My hands reach my knees.
Oh, man. This is just getting mean now. That's all I'm saying.
Danny, you're out there?
Anthony so enjoys when Chris
I
Roach
get kids in school
takes a
saying that
pounding.
song to you.
All right, so anyway, now Islanders rip off 4 straight cups. They become the total front
Dynasty.
runners, the dynasty, and
The last dynasty
second.
in hockey.
I thought a dynasty meant 5 cups in a row.
no. A dynasty
stop
just means a dominant team.
You're an ass. Maybe 5, 4's not enough. That's not good enough.
Listen, we said
They
no
went to
name
5
calling.
in a row. They went to 5 in a row.
How many straight series did they win? They won like 19 straight series, which is insane.
Don't say it's not a dynasty. I'll smack your mouth.
All right, it's a dynasty.
Okay, you know what? We have Aaron online. Mark.
Oh,
good,
we're having such a
good.
good time. Almost
Speaking
forgot.
of which,
Aaron, are you there?
Yes, Sam.
What's up, Aaron?
Hey, Aaron.
how you doing,
How
sir?
are you?
Before we
Oh,
say
not too-
before we say anything, I just want to point this out that we posted that you were going to be on the show, and we got a number of really nice comments about how nice you were to like fans and stuff off the ice and outside of the rink. And I just wanted to pass that along to you that people really appreciated what a good guy you are.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
There you go.
And then
Try to be a good guy. So
in honor of you calling, we decided to dive into the Ranger-Islander rivalry. And what's amazing about you is that not only you played on both sides of one of the biggest sports rivalries, but also Philadelphia and the Flyers. That's
The
amazing.
Philadelphia
Yeah.
Penguins and
The Flyers and Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Well, that's
I've been a part of a lot of them. They've been a lot of fun.
which was the nastiest rivalry that you were ever involved in?
Jeez, I think it was the Islanders and the Rangers when I was playing with the Islanders.
Now you
It was just the atmosphere, just the hate for each other. It was great.
now you were involved in the they had a brawl that like before the game that I think Barnaby sort of precipitated. Do you remember that? Islanders and the Rangers?
Oh yeah. I was. I think I speared Dave Carpa or I speared someone. We were all ready to go. It was great. I miss those games. Like those games were.
right.
Those were a lot of fun, definitely.
It's always the rivalry is always best when both teams are doing good. Then again, if both teams are not doing good, but no matter what, growing up a Ranger fan, whenever the Ranger Islanders game came on, it was always like a holiday in my family. Everything stopped.
It's just so much hate between the fans and it just carries over to the players and
Yeah.
it's walking to the rink, especially at the Coliseum.
Oh yeah.
It was about walking across, and there was the fans. There was interacting with the fans, and it was definitely a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
those games were wars.
Well, it's funny because a lot of friends they could be best friends, but when that game comes on, it's all out the window.
Oh, for sure, definitely. Like I fought Riley Cote, then I came to the Flyers, and now he's one of my good friends. And it fought Hartnell. Hartnell is a good friend of mine. It's part of the business. It's what you do.
Yeah.
Back when in the late '99, early 2000, it was you see those guys at the bars and you'd be partying with them, and it was just left on the ice, and it's the way it should be.
Is that weird when you like because you jumped from team to team a bit? Like you could be on a team with a guy that you're fighting regularly a few months ago, and you just let it go and that's it.
Yeah, it was. That's exactly. For me, I played for every team in the. It was in the Atlantic Division, and
Right.
I played for the Islanders, Penguins, Devils, Flyers, and we played these guys 8-9 times a year. And then next year I'll be on their team, and then the guys that I hated with a passion are now one of my brothers, and a guy that I'll go to war for, and the team I left for all my friends, and they still are. But come game time, you keep your head up, because
Right.
it's down. I'm coming for it. So
That's right.
Nice.
it's just what for me. That's how I went about it. But might have been different for other people. But
I was watching when I was researching you. I couldn't believe how many people you fought, and and you would fight anybody. I mean anybody.
well, I wanted to stay in the league. When I was in junior, I was averaging 95, 96 points a year. But so I could play the game. It was just a matter of I was still fighting in junior, but it wasn't that wasn't the major part of my game. I was able to put pucks in it.
Right.
The only way I could be in the NHL regular night, regular shift is I had to start fighting, and
Right.
that's what I did. And I
Yep.
had to fight some big boys, but part of the business.
I know. I saw you fighting Colton Orr. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, well,
And you held your own.
you have to. Guy ran you, but I have to.
Paros.
What I had to do, and I didn't mind doing it. I good defense, so
There you go.
a lot of dodging, a lot of ducking, but
Yeah, that's
a few in there every now and then.
yeah. What you just brought up is something that we've discussed here. Is like, people sort of they pigeonhole guys who are enforcers and stuff who fight a lot, and they don't realize what tremendously skilled players those guys
Right.
were. And maybe they, up until they got into the league, then they have to fight a bit. But they just the skills to stay in the NHL. Every one of those guys is a tremendous player.
That's right.
Oh yeah, like there's kids chomping at the bit. In the minors, they want to take your job, and you have to, have to fight for it every night. And especially at an older age, I think I played till I was 34, 35, and those kids are hungry. They want to be where you are, and they're coming to knock you off. And
But what's your most memorable goal that you ever scored in the NHL?
probably my goal in the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 1.
Nice.
Nice.
Scored one there. My first goal in the NHL, I scored 2 that night against Ottawa. That was pretty nice.
Cool.
So a few game winners in there I scored a game winner with the Rangers. That was pretty cool against the Capitals. And but I'll have to say either my first goal or the Stanley Cup Final goal. That was pretty special.
That's got to be awesome. That's something you dream of.
Well, yeah, I was dreaming of a Stanley Cup since I was 4 or 5 years old. I wanted to,
Right.
and I had a chance to play for it. I didn't get to win it, but I was at the dance, so that was pretty special.
Which rivalry would you say is more intense, the Range Islanders or the Penguins Flyers? 'Cause Flyers fans, I think, are the craziest, and hands down.
Oh, they are. I love my. I was there for 2 years, and we go to the finals. It was my second year, and it was unreal. The building, and they are crazy. They love their teams. The Eagle fans, Phillies, the Flyers. It's just they are by far scariest fans.
I did being a Ranger fan, I used to hate the Flyers, especially the Dave Brown era. When that team, I hated Dave Brown. And then a booker calls me up and says, "Hey, how'd you like to do a comedy show for the Philadelphia Flyers?" I was like, okay. So last year I went down and I did a comedy show for them, and they were all very nice to me, thank God.
And they were great
Yeah,
guys.
Great guys. Claude Giroux.
G's a great guy. That was actually when he first got called up, he was actually one of my line mates. I mean, Van Riemsdyk. So I've seen him in his younger years, and that kid's a special player.
Nice.
The Flyer fans are so crazy. My brother went to see a Philadelphia Ranger game in Philadelphia, and he was at the end of the game. He was so fearful for his safety that he walked into one of the shops in there and bought a Flyers shirt to put on over his Ranger shirt, just to get out alive.
That's very smart, because by then they're all boozed up and ready to go.
Oh yeah, and that was
definitely a good idea by him.
That might have been the game that there was a video that surfaced on YouTube where three Flyer fans was stomping on a Ranger fan, and somebody was filming it.
Yikes!
That went viral.
There's a lot of weird stuff. You know what's the best the best rivalry related YouTube thing is the Santa fight.
Santa fight.
You don't remember that? The
No.
Islanders had a thing after the game, and if you got on the ice free, if you dressed as Santa,
Right.
and a couple of guys dressed as Santa, but then pulled off their Santa shirt and they had Rangers jerseys on.
Right.
So then the other Santas start pounding the guys with the Rangers
Get out of
jerseys.
here.
It's hilarious.
I was at the Islanders at that time.
Wait, was that a real fight? Or was that
Yes.
staged?
No, that really happened.
No, that wasn't set up. I don't believe. I think that was a real fight.
That's real.
How the hell do I not know this? That's
That
brilliant.
was hilarious.
That's brilliant.
That's right.
But yeah, just Google like Santa fight on go on YouTube, and it's pretty funny.
You know what? I give credit to those Islander fans defending their home.
Yeah, really. There you go.
right.
That's exactly right.
That's Anthony DiDomenico, the only Islander fan in the room, speaking.
I'm the only Islander fan here.
So this
I
is
love it.
We're three stand-up comedians. It's a very Ranger Islander heavy podcast, and we have a good time. Now, I met you via text through Peter Ferraro, who Peter and Chris played for the Rangers one season. And do you still live in New York?
Yeah, I'm actually. I still live on the island.
Oh, good.
Really?
So you're going to be
Yeah,
part. Go ahead.
I'm at Floyd Lookout on the South Shore. It's a
Very nice.
beautiful place.
So you're going to be participating in the big secret celebrity hockey rent-outs on Sunday, starting this March.
Hey, I guess so.
Oh, I mean, you probably haven't gotten an invite yet. Maybe I wasn't supposed to say it out loud, but
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
but, you know.
maybe not getting invited now.
Whoops, this is
I
awkward.
feel awful.
This got awkward quick.
I didn't make the cut again.
I'm sure you're the first on the list, being that you're friends with Peter, and he's arranging it.
Yeah, no, I think he mentioned something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he actually, like John's been playing like 4 times a week. I bought all this equipment in June, and I skated twice. So I gotta.
You gotta pick it up.
Oh, you can't miss me when it starts. I'll be the 6'6" guy who's falling all over the place. Please be gentle.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd be fine. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
He could never ride a bike.
Oh, you gotta let me know.
Oh, geez, you're in trouble then.
Oh my God. Being that you gotta let us know if you ever want to come to a comedy show here in Levittown.
Yeah, you would have came already.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go.
What do you mean?
kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm just putting out the invite. What do you got to
There you go.
Very
Yeah,
nice,
why can't you be nice, Anthony?
I'm
Jesus
being nice.
Christ. Did you ever fight Derek Bugard?
No, I didn't. Thank God.
I think they should give out T-shirts to anybody who fought him. That is just.
He was a huge man.
He was a huge man.
Huge.
like Probert, like once the fight was over, they just walked off the ice like with no motion. It was like a robot.
Who's the toughest guy you think you ever came up against?
Toughest guy I ever fought. Peros was pretty tough. Louis DeBrusque back in the day. I think my first year I fought Louis DeBrusque.
Wow.
It was, he beat me up pretty good. I was Colt Knorr.
Oh,
Chris Neal was tough. I
Oh,
fought
my-
Barnaby 3 or 4 times. Let me see who else is there.
Was-
Garrett Bolton fought him a couple times. He's got heavy hands.
Was Barnaby like a giant pain in the ass on the ice?
Oh God, he was. I've never met him off the ice, but on the ice, he could just push my buttons.
right.
Oh, it was. I wanted to kill him every night. Took me off my game. Did such a good job at it.
Wow.
But I heard he's a great guy off the ice, though.
Who is
Great guy.
the biggest agitator you ever came up against? Was it Barnaby?
It
Or?
was either him or Avery. I thought.
It's so funny you mentioned Avery because over the last few months, he's been taking an interest in doing stand-up comedy, and I met with him on Saturday, and I can't believe here's this guy. He's such a hated guy on the ice and such an instigator, but off the ice, he's this soft-spoken guy that's he collects like Andy Warhol art. He owns restaurants, and so I thought about asking him to this. To play in these Sunday games, but I'm like, I don't know if I will regret that. Because Sean Avery, off the ice, is this nice guy, but on the ice, what if he starts fights with everybody? I'll be like, they'll be like, who the hell brought Avery?
Who brought this guy?
Maybe I don't know if I'll be invited. I probably won't invite him.
Hey, if Sean Avery does stand-up comedy, can we invite Marty Brodeur to block the audience's view and
How-
stuff?
Yes.
That'd
Oh
be
my
great. Just have
God.
Marty Brodeur stand in front of him.
Wait, Marty Brodeur sitting up front in the audience and just pick up a goalie stick and start waving it in front of him.
Well, I was on that. I was on the Devils when all that was happening.
Oh, really?
Oh, did you?
With the glove in the face, or at least the glove in the face part.
Oh,
Oh man,
With the It was
that's crazy. Yeah, we
It was nuts. It was crazy.
Yeah, when we interviewed Ron Duguay on the show, and he said one of the most level-headed, unflappable, hard-to-get-to guys ever was Marty Brodeur. Just very sort of,
oh yeah.
But Avery could get under his skin.
Hey, it works. They beat us. So
Yeah, before.
and Marty was I'm not saying Marty played bad. It was just he got to all of us basically. Everyone wanted to kill the guy.
Yeah,
You know, Marty stood on his head for us that series, like he did all year. Marty's just a good guy too. Great guy.
I
Love playing with him. He was actually one of my favorite teammates. We had a lot of good laughs, a lot of good times together. So
okay, I'm not going to be inviting Sean Avery. Just a second.
Arron, your last year at the Islanders was your first year at the Islanders was Laviolette's last year, correct?
yeah.
What was the locker room after his firing? What was the mood in there? Because I know as an Islander fan, that was the
Well-
absolute worst. We finally found we had our coach. This was the coach to bring us to the cup.
Yeah, I don't know what happened because I love Lavi. I liked him as a coach. I thought he was a great coach. I think the Islanders realized after the fact that it was a mistake, but I have nothing but love for Lavi. He's the only coach that's given me a chance to actually play, and he knew what I could do on the ice, and I had my best years with him. I scored 15 goals and had 34 points with the Isles my first season. And
Yeah.
Wow.
a big part of it was because of Lavi. So
I always think that was the biggest mistake they made in that time because the team was really starting to come together. And when they fired him, I think that set them back years.
I think so too, and didn't help that
Did you
Milbury was
like Milbury?
telling everyone, and
Yep.
I don't know what he was doing.
There was sometimes Milbury. He's behind the bench.
Drinking heavily, I take it.
As long as he keeps his shoe on.
Oh, man.
Ranger fans will always remember Milbury, the shoe, right?
Yeah, he beat a guy with his
Yeah.
own shoe at Madison Square Garden, which is
Drinking his shoe.
that's kind of
That is-
hilarious.
That is funny as hell.
That shoe should be in the NHL Hall of Fame. That shoe.
Oh,
Like what? He
geez.
called the player in and then just beat him
No,
up
no,
with
no,
his
no,
shoe?
no, no. Mike Milbury was a player on the Bruins, and a fan. There was a fight at the end of the game. A fan grabbed a stick from one of the Bruins and like sort of waved it at him. The Bruins ended up going up into the stands at Madison Square Garden, and Milbury took a spectator's shoe off and hit him with
the shoe.
It was pretty funny.
Beat him with his own shoe.
We'll show you the YouTube video after the
It's
after the
great.
show.
Very
And that's the
resourceful.
guy who ended up calling the shots for the Islanders for a few years.
Screaming the shots.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Did you did you each team that you played on, did you have the same number or no? And was there any
I did. The only year I didn't was in Jersey.
45.
45? There was significance to that?
I was 22 in Jersey. Lou, I asked for 45, and he was like, the only guys that get numbers over 30 are McGillney and Gilmore. He goes,
Right.
not Asham, so you wear 22.
He's got a thing
I
with
was
the
like-
numbers. He's looked at the
Yeah.
I
Islanders
was like,
now.
okay,
He's like
thanks,
that.
Luke. So,
There's a few coaches. The
That's
Rangers.
odd.
Does the Rangers' new coach have that thing too? Like some coaches, they want players to keep lower numbers. Maybe it's like an ego thing. I don't know. What these-
Hosang can't wear 66.
Well, some Lemieux fans were angry about that.
Well, not just that. That Lou Lamoriello wants him to wear a lower number.
Okay.
What do you think the reason is, Aaron, for the low numbers, for the coaches wanting to have players wear low numbers?
I'm not sure about that. I don't have a clue.
It's got to be a psychological thing.
Yeah, it has to be something like that.
Was there any?
I don't think Hosang is wearing 66 anymore.
No, he's not wearing. He hasn't played, but he's not wearing 66. They said that one of the first things when he came back up, he's not going to wear 66.
Was there a significance to you in number 45? It's just a number you always wore. Was there? Did it
Well, in junior I was 7. I wore number 7. It's just I was a young kid. I came in as a 16-year-old in the WHL, and I was I made the team somehow. I wasn't drafted or anything. A scout seen me and listed me, and so I went to camp as a 16-year-old, just turned 16, and somehow made the team. And then I was so scared. They were like, "You're year 7." I was like, "Okay, thank you." And then my first year in I was with Montreal, so same thing. They gave me 49. Brian Savage they gave me 45 because Brian Savage was 49, and that was the number they gave me in the minor league. So it's just, for me, I was just happy to be there. I didn't care what number I was, as long as they gave me a number, and I got to keep that number for as many years as I could. So
it worked for you because you're in the NHL for a long time.
Absolutely.
yeah, I did. I pulled them for a lot of years. So.
Well, John Truson over here and I will probably be seeing you in March for this secret hockey.
Yeah, awesome. I'm looking
It's
forward
not
to
going to be a secret if you keep talking about it, Ian
Well,
Numskull.
I think there's going to be some kind of. All right. It's not going to be held at where the Islanders practice, but anyway.
Are you going to be skating, Roach?
I'm going to be skating next week. You'll
You
see.
haven't skated since last year. How are you going to skate?
You'll
for this?
see.
Yeah, all right.
I just do you know of any services that they have, or you could hire people to
Skate for you?
dress you? Because that's for me. That's the hardest part is dressing. I'm sweaty. I'm sweaty at the end of dressing.
That's a good warm up for you.
It is. Oh. It's the bending over my fat stomach and. Oh.
Hey, listen, I'm getting there too.
Right?
I'm getting tying my skates right now too.
And I got those VH skates that I got. They're hard. They're like power turbos. They're very stiff at the top.
You're such a baby.
Ah, the problems I have, Aaron. The problems I
Oh.
have.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah,
calling
buddy.
in, man. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And
No
hopefully
problem,
we'll see you.
gentlemen. Yes, see you guys soon.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you, sir.
Thanks, Aaron.
The great
No problem.
Arron Asham.
Arron
Yeah,
Asham.
very nice. Very nice.
I'm glad, I really wanted to get that question. I'm glad you answered it about Laviolette.
That was-
He
that
was
was-
shocked as much as we were.
Yeah.
And I
That was a good question because you could tell that it really kind of he was on board with you.
And yeah, because then he would play for him with the Flyers as well when they went to the Cup Finals that time.
Right.
Laviolette had him on that team. You talk about that. That was, Laviolette was like a shining hope for his Islander fans. He came in, turned the whole culture of the team around. And what I really heard, I guess, through the press and other things, that there was a small mutiny with like Michael Pekka and guys like, a few of the guys.
Pekka.
And got in Milbury's ear.
Sally's laughing at
And
Becca's
kinda-
name.
yeah.
I know, but I'm like this. I'm like the humor of a 14-year-old boy I have.
Well, but-
I'm like,
He said Becca.
My brother got me the jersey for Christmas one year, and he goes, "You got Pekka on your back?" I'm like, "I don't care. It's
Nice.
a nice jersey."
Oh.
But that was like, as an Islander fan, that was a complete shock.
Yeah.
After 2 years, the first year, they almost finished in first place. Second year, they still made the playoffs. They lost the first round, but it was just, I think the team was heading in the right direction. And I always got mad because then he went to Carolina and won the cup in 06. I feel that was my cup.
There you go.
I feel like the Islanders at that point would have gotten to been the Stanley Cup Finals or made a run at that time.
Mm-hmm.
My cup.
I think after speaking to Arron, maybe we should consider moving the podcast to another day so we can do it later, because obviously he was speaking to us from bed.
No. Now, here's the thing. First of all,
Didn't he sound like he was in bed?
Now,
It's not like a hockey player.
yeah. Now,
I would be still
let's-
sleeping.
before we even.
If I wasn't,
where
if
did
I-
he grow up? Do you
If I
guys
wasn't here
know?
right now, I'd still be sleeping.
I was trying to figure out his accent.
He is, it's Canadian.
He's probably.
Is he-
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Most of these guys.
We were trying to get him to say about, because
Yeah.
that's
Boat?
there's certain words
A
that
boot?
a
A
boat.
boot.
What's it a
Boot.
It's a
boot?
boot.
Yeah, I caught a couple of those.
And hockey's players, they don't call it an organization; it's an organization.
Now, Chris Roach. I'm
Yes.
gonna get serious with you here for a second.
Okay.
Chris Roach is one of these guys. He's like, oh, we can play this game and blah blah blah. You don't understand that I've played like 4 straight years, 4 or 5 times a week, in order to be really mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get out there and do some work, dude,
He
or
doesn't
you're not going to be able to
doesn't
even
understand
stand
that.
up.
I just got to get out there for one person to take a picture of me going with the stick and like I'm about to take a shot, and that's it.
Aaron's from Manitoba, Canada.
It's a media thing.
That's a sad thing.
No, I'm
we're
gonna get
we're gonna
in
get
shape.
you to really
You know,
play.
listen, I'm gonna get my skates on.
There's another.
Hey, somebody come in. I want to get one of the. Somebody come in and dress me a little bit.
We're gonna get you to really play.
I know.
How about tomorrow afternoon?
Tomorrow's what month?
At the
No.
I can't do
You
tomorrow.
know why no?
Yeah,
Because
stay with
I
me.
already gave the whole day to my wife, so we could do work around the house, spackling. I'm putting a floor down.
You've got a world of excuses not to do
You
your
got
work.
more
Listen,
excuses than
come
anyone.
January, I am ready. 'Cause
You've
that's when
said
everything-
this first of all, it's not enough time. You're not going to be ready in 2 months.
I'm gonna be. Well, I'll be.
You are going to be sitting there going, "Oh man, I should have been doing this the last 2 years, like the fellas." You know what you are? I'm going to tell him what he is now, Anthony.
a neo maxi zoom
No,
dweeby.
you know when you meet that guy and everybody's like, "Oh, my friend's a comedian," and then
Yeah.
you meet him and they did one open mic in 2007,
Oh,
and they go, "I work Governors. I'm a comedian."
Yeah.
That's what you're
Oh.
doing. That's you as a hockey player.
My
You're
God,
the
that
mental
hurt.
patients that do the open mic and take a picture,
that
use it as
hurt.
their
By
profile
the way,
picture. They play governors.
I have on my Rinks intramural jersey today, and
Now, where would you get that, John?
by playing the intramurals over at the
Oh my
Town
God.
Actually
Place Debate.
playing? Actually
yes,
going and
actually
playing?
playing.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice jersey.
Actually
Well,
playing.
in this secret league that's going to be taking place, it's like a celebrity.
You know, it's a secret. You goofball. You're not supposed to keep talking about
Okay,
it.
but I heard that they're going to be getting us jerseys.
How are you playing in it?
Let me explain
It's a
something.
celebrity thing.
Okay, everybody, get close to your
Okay.
your listening
This
devices
means
right
very
now. I'm going to
serious
tell
here.
everybody a secret.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure Chris Roach just wants to tell us about the secret league.
Here's his 2 things.
Just because he's kind of like he wants to drop some names and act like
Name
he's
dropper.
hanging out with famous
Yeah.
people.
Here's
and stuff
2
like
reasons
that.
why he shouldn't be in it.
Big-
He's not
big
a
name
celebrity
dropper.
and he can't skate.
They do.
So that's
Listen. I just have one question for you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Did you get the key to Ronkonkoma?
you know what? I could. I mean, it's like it's a hard thing to get.
First of
Son
all,
of a bitch.
what is it, like a key to a screen door? What the
Yeah.
hell is it?
You know what?
It's not that hard to get into Ronkonkoma.
Next episode, I'm bringing in the key to Ronkonkoma.
There's so many people fighting to get into Ronkonkoma.
And it's going to be right over my head on, we won't block the range jersey.
The key to Ronkonkoma.
Yeah, we want to give you the honor. Maybe I can write a dumb song about a town and they'll give me a key to it.
Sally, I was the only person.
I love
Yeah,
that
wait a minute.
video.
Hold
That's
on.
a good
Hold on. Wait a
video.
minute. Now, yeah, but wait a minute. Like I made the video. How come I didn't get a key?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How about the guy who actually did the work
Sally
for
doesn't
it?
know that.
I know.
You know,
I
because
did not
Chris
know
Roach
that.
never says, "Hey, Sally, John Truson made that."
How about the
That's
guy?
not
Yeah. How about
true.
the guy who did all the work? Can you get the key for it?
John, I'm going to bring it in and let you take a picture with the key, John.
John should get the key because he actually had to wrangle you into doing things.
Yeah, that's true. Roach, could you get out of bed before 4:30 so I can do something?
So we have the light to film during the day. Can we actually?
Wait, I think the motivating thing that Trusa said to me goes, you don't want to be another. Oh, who's the guy that didn't finish projects?
Oh, Orson Welles. Orson Welles. Yeah. Because he was going full Orson Welles.
You got the beard and the
I
wheeze
was
down.
I was dealing with his self-sabotaging stuff where he was going to like
Yes.
Well, we should do it again. No, we should do it again. I'm like, no, just let's make it be over. Oh, look, it's Tim Gage calling in. We'll talk to him later.
We'll talk to him later.
We'll talk to him later. There you go.
Comedian Tim Gage turns 60.
Yeah, when does that happen? Happens one of these
Yeah,
days.
is it today
anyway.
or?
I'm not sure. It's one of these days. That's word on the street. That's what we've
I
heard.
think it's next week.
Yeah, but Tim Gage doesn't have Facebook, so he can't hear us now, so it doesn't
Good.
matter.
No, he doesn't know how to use the Facebook.
He doesn't know how to use the social media. He does use Twitter, though.
He does. He's on the
He has Twitter, so he can listen to the great Colin.
So
Quinn.
listen, we have 5 minutes left. Should we take a call? Or we're
Yeah,
still
but who's going to call? Nobody's going to call.
We're still talking about the Ranger-Islander rivalry. We got 5 minutes
So
left.
I can't believe you didn't know about that Santa Claus thing. It's
I
hilarious.
did not know.
It's really funny. I'm
First
going to
thing-
get it on YouTube as soon as the show ends.
So
These guys, it was you get to go on the ice free if you like between periods they had a little march if you dressed as Santa. So like there was probably 100 fans dressed as Santa,
Right.
And then some guys pull off their Santa shirt and have Rangers jerseys on,
Right.
and the other Santas start beating up those Santas.
I got it. This is amazing.
It was hilarious.
I cannot believe that. It's like, how did I not hear about this?
There you go. And the pregame fight with Barnaby and Asham and Carnes and McCarthy going getting in each other's faces.
Well,
It was all
Sandy
pretty
McCarthy?
Sandy McCarthy. Yep.
Sandy McCarthy.
What are you doing? How you doing?
Santa-
Oh,
is
it's
that
got the
the Santa
yeah,
fight?
it's got the Santa fight. There it is.
Wow, they really.
See?
Oh
See
my
the
God,
Santa's
security's
fighting
in there.
Wait, show Sally. See, there's the Santa's fighting.
Started.
Who?
There you go.
Wait, one of the announcers breaks it up.
No.
No.
See, they're just having this like little thing on the
Hey.
ice. See, it's
This
all
guy-
happy.
this
It's
guy
very,
takes his
very
look
Christmassy.
at
Now the
push him.
guy's got a
Get him
thing
right
in
into the
his-
boards.
Now the Santa guy started.
Wait, there's a
attacking the
little
guy.
kid. There's a little kid attacking
Yeah, the
him.
little kid.
Oh my God! This is something you see in Philadelphia.
Yeah, look at the kid.
That's great.
They made him take it off.
Yeah, take it off. Well, you know what?
Nothing funnier
they
than
do
Santa's
that.
fighting.
I went to Yankees Red Sox ALCS game 2, 1999, and we were all the way up in the nosebleeds, and a guy had a Red Sox hat on. So everybody's chanting Boston sucks, Boston sucks. So the guy finally gets so bad he goes and gets a cop. And,
Okay.
and now the chants are getting even worse. So the cop just goes.
The cop's probably chanting.
He just goes.
the
"Take-"
Where are they
Bronx.
playing?
This
Home
was-
or away?
This,
It's
no,
at the
this is
Bronx.
Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
So the cop just goes, "Take your hat off," and he goes, "That's the only thing I can tell you right now. I can't do anything. It's Yankee Stadium."
Yeah.
I can't be your bodyguard.
Well, one thing when you go to those Ranger games where, I've been blessed to be able to sit in the little section behind the bench, they send you an email saying that all these things like no ripped jeans, no opposing team's colors. You can't show up. Yeah, so that's one thing.
Danny says, I tried searching for the greatest photo ever, the one of Dennis Potvin on his knees against the Boys after a loss.
Oh, yeah.
You should find the 4 of him drinking out of the Stanley Cup and
That's-
kissing it. That's even better pictures.
That's it's from 1979. Danny Guire's right after.
I know that he's talking about. Yeah.
1979.
Danny, because Dennis Potvin was probably just played the last shift of the game. He's exhausted. He just collapses in front of the bench.
He's a
and
beaten man.
He's a beaten man.
And you know
But
that,
you know what?
you know
He's
what
a
that
man
led to?
about to win 4
Yeah,
straight
you know what
cups.
that led to? They'll never want that feeling again. And he won 4 Stanley Cups in a row.
Yeah.
Rescue dogs.
And for all the abuse he takes at the Garden, there's nobody on the Rangers who wouldn't have loved to have him. And as we learned from our friend Craig Minervini,
Quite big boy.
he almost ended up. He
I
almost.
don't like that.
He almost.
That's right. Touche. You can't call him big boy. You can't call him big boy.
Danny Potvin almost ended up on the Rangers. Mike Keenan gave him the phone call.
can't
Craig
say Obama.
Minervini told us.
That's
What
correct.
happened? Say that again.
You were here.
Do you pay
It was one of the
attention to our
biggest-
phone calls at all?
That was like the biggest things he
Yes.
dropped on last week's
Craig
podcast.
Minervini told Craig Minervini is the play-by-play guy for the Panthers, Florida Panthers, and his
Oh my
color
God!
guy.
Rich, you don't remember that?
His color guy is Dennis Potvin, and he gave us this little inside scoop that Mike Keenan, when he was with the Rangers,
Right.
contacted Potvin to come out of retirement and quarterback the Rangers power play.
Oh, that's right.
And Danny Potvin thought about it, but then he decided he didn't want to do it because he'd been retired a couple of years. and
How
wanted to embarrass
amazing would that
himself.
have been still?
But yeah, and the Rangers would have loved him then.
Wait, how old was he at the time?
He retired. Right, he retired like when he was 34 or something. He was pretty young when he
Let's
retired.
see. But you know what? Even if he was close to 40, I mean, it's still like he did. The quarterback, the power. I mean, that would have been like he wasn't playing as many minutes as a regular defenseman.
Yep.
And it's that veteran leadership on the team.
And a guy who had how many cups, Anthony?
4 Stanley Cups in a row. He won 4. Amazing. I mean, I don't know that many people that have won 4 Stanley Cups in a row.
And if you know anything about Mike Keenan, what did he do with that team that won the cup? He loaded it up with guys who'd won cups before.
Right.
He loaded up with Edmonton Oilers and
Chicago Blackhawks.
Chicago Blackhawks.
And then he left.
He's 65 now, Potvin.
Wow.
So, I mean, when did Keenan take over the Rangers?
I don't know, about 90 or something.
So,
He was about 37, 38 around that time.
Probably
He
could have
could have
still played.
well, it looks like we're all out of time for today's podcast. So, yes, also, again, if you want to listen to this podcast again, we are on iTunes, Not Another Puckin' Podcast, Comedians on Hockey. And what else,
you
guys?
didn't touch anything again, right?
I didn't touch anything yet because I went into the podcast website. I went into what, Podbean?
Yeah.
And I changed Puck-ing to Puck-N. And I don't know, it changed the whole feed, and it was like pouring Pepsi on the motherboard of NASA or something. I screwed everything up.
Yeah, it was. It's exactly what it was.
What a reference. What a reference from 70s and SNL.
Only you'd be drinking Pepsi. Yeah.
Anyway, what else we got to say? That's.
I think we can wrap it up now.
But thank you, Sally, for joining us
Yes,
today.
thank
Helping
you,
us out.
Sally.
And thank you, Arron Asham, for calling in.
Yes.
Much more pleasant than Nick Tillelli.
Next, yeah. Oh, and she asks questions. And next week we have calling in is Trevor Gillies, and being that he was involved in one of the biggest brawls in NHL history, we will be talking about the best brawls in NHL history. We'll be talking about brawls.
Why is everything brawls to you? Why can't we talk about hockey one week?
You
You
know,
know, like fighting. I can't skate. I can't play hockey.
oh, look who just joined in. Islander fan Clinton Brown. Little late, Clinton. Little late to the show, pal. Good man.
Clint.
Good man, Clinton
Clint's
Brown.
the best.
Good man.
I don't care what team Clint roots
Well,
for.
people-
That's a good team.
People can watch.
Clinton Brown dropped the puck at center ice for the Islanders once.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Nice.
He's a good man. All right, so we'll be in next week talking to Trevor Gillies.
Nice.
What's the over under on how long it takes Roach to mention the secret hockey game?
Oh,
Okay,
3 seconds.
again, if you heard anything about the secret rent out taking place in March, ignore that part.
I'm John Truson,
Chris Roach,
Anthony Domenico,
and that was Sally O'Neill.
and this was hockey.
and this is the worst song ever.
Hey, this is my band, Rich Haven. We're playing December 29th, I think.
I wrote this song
No, we don't
I'm not on TV and I can't skate, but I'm gonna play hockey.
Is this live? Are we getting all this evilness?
Yes, we're still on. We're on until somebody touches that yet. And you didn't shut it off, did you?
Not yet. I want to get
Oh,
that
there
in.
you go.
Don't write anything disgusting.